This is the Steve Gruber Show.
And welcome to it, my friends. Kicking off another brand new broadcast day here. Glad to have you on board. Boy, we've got a lot to cover. Doesn't really seem to change. Fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. The question is, who do you want in your foxhole? It's the same every single day. Here are three big things you need to know. Number one, the smoke rolling out of Canada into the U.S. is really irritating people. And I don't just mean their lungs. People are yelling that Canada must stop the wildfires or pay a price. What exactly would you suggest they do? Number two, Republicans in the Senate are considering changing the rules to get President Trump's nominees through confirmation hearings, as Democrats are blocking every nomination they come across. And number three, the Democrat Party is on the verge of being hijacked by Democratic socialism, if it hasn't been already. I mean, the kook Bernie Sanders began removing the left's ability to think and reason during the 2016 presidential election, and it hasn't slowed down. It's just gotten worse. What we're watching is the left experimenting with communism on American soil in real time. We've got to say enough. We've got to sound the alarm. The Democratic Socialists of America Party. It's gone from some 6,000 radicals in 2015 to 80,000 strong this year, thanks to the likes of Bernie, AOC, pro-Palestine propaganda, and most recently, Zoran Mamdani's campaign in New York City. Mamdani scored 500,000 votes in New York City's primary, crushing Andrew Cuomo by 12 points, and his victory has really underscored a big problem for Democrats, and that is this. The radicals are fully in charge. The radicals are fully in charge. Many refrained from endorsing the card-carrying socialists before the primary. Big-time donors backed Andrew Cuomo. Democrat leaders Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer held their tongues. New York Democrats like Governor Kathy Hochul, Representative Dan Goldman, and Tom Suozzi expressed their concerns over Mamdani's radical stances. But now that he's won the primary, a lot of Democrats are willing to throw their weight behind him if it means getting their party out of the dumps. I think it just lights another dumpster fire myself. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, excited about Mamdani's chances at being the future of her party and being a communist. No shock at all. Listen.
Is this what the party should look like?
Yes. You bet. The Democratic Party needs to stand up and be clear. We are the party that fights for affordability for working families. That means child care. That means housing. It means health care. It means making this country work better for the working people who make this country work.
All right, last question.
I get a little excited about this. Okay. All right.
Yeah, go, Liz. Pocahontas, there she is. She told reporters she's excited for Mamdani to experiment with things like city-funded, city-run grocery stores and other communist utopia pipe dreams. But the experiment has already been tried numerous times all over the world and even right here in the United States. And the results always the same. Epic failure. Here's a look at a government-run grocery store in Kansas City. It's exactly what you would expect. Here it is.
It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see when they come in. There's barely any produce. A lot of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where is all the food? A rotten smell comes through the door, and anywhere you turn, you'll see products that need to be restocked. No hot food or deli.
I watch people walk in and walk out.
The grocery store has received financial assistance from the city, but has been unable to keep those shelves stocked in an area that in the past has often been referred to as a food desert.
Around here, a good thing don't last too long.
And it will impact a lot of people and a lot of families.
The city owns the Linwood Shopping Center. A nonprofit operates the grocery store.
Yeah, failure right there in Kansas City. Look, that grocery store is about to go out of business, as it was out of business already. Funded and propped up by government money, by taxpayers' money, it is a complete and utter failure by any measure. Look at Venezuela, folks. Socialism there turned a very rich country, a wealthy country, into an impoverished nightmare. Chavez and Maduro nationalized everything, promised lots of free stuff, and delivered bread lines and starvation instead. 7 million fled. Some resorted to eating zoo animals just to survive. Do you remember those stories? The Soviet Union tried socialism and communism for, 70 years. State-run everything. No free markets, no freedom. Result, empty shelves, starving people, and a collapsed empire. Mikhail Gorbachev gave up because it was a disaster of epic proportions. Chairman Mao Zedong, his China went all in on socialism. Collectivized farms, state-run factories. The result, 50 million dead. 50 million dead in the Great Leap Forward in 1959 and 60 alone. Millions more died in the Cultural Revolution. You see, because death is always the handmaiden of socialists and communists. Such movements are also the death of individual freedom. This is what happens when socialists run the show. We don't need experimentation in New York City to prove it. It will be the death of the Big Apple, and maybe America too if it's allowed. America was built on hard work, personal responsibility, and the freedom to chase your dreams. Democratic socialism wants to replace that with government handouts, bloated bureaucracies, and control over every aspect of your life. They're talking about Medicare for all, free college, and wealth taxes. Sounds nice, until you realize it's your paycheck they're actually coming for. CNBC wrecked Elizabeth Warren on this idea that all we need to have as a thriving society is to tax the rich even more. Yeah, it's what she went with. Again, it's so tired, but she can't help herself. Listen.
And so this idea of somehow raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers, who, by the way, I would point out, pay roughly 15% of their income right now between city and state, raising taxes on them will simply drive them away. Shouldn't the focus of a mayor be on delivering services to the constituents of the city and doing that by raising the most revenue as possible without chasing businesses and the high-income taxpayers out of the city? Because they can go to Austin, they can go to Dallas, they can go to Atlanta, they can go to Nashville. This is your issue. It's a national issue, not a local issue.
The issue is affordability. Do you know how many working families are chased out of New York City every day because they can't afford housing, they can't afford groceries, they can't afford child care? What Zoran is saying is, I want people to be able to afford to live in New York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant city. That's what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it?
Oh,
why is that
goodness.
the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and over and over.
And they have. They've left.
But here's the thing.
And Goldman Sachs, when they create new jobs, they do it in Dallas. And Blackstone won't build a new headquarters. And go on and on.
Yeah, she just doesn't get it. They don't get it, none of them. They've become the party of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, who has always been and will always be a kook. It just is what it is, my friends. We're going to look at the polls about communism and socialism when we come back. Glad to have you here. It is the Steve Gruber Show. All right, let's go to the polling, all right? What do actual Americans and not radicalized little communists think about socialism and communism? Well, a 2023 Gallup poll found 65% of Americans prefer a free market system over government control. Of course we do. And yet the Democrats keep pushing this radical agenda. Go to any small town, pick your place. Montana, Ohio, Texas, Florida, I don't care. Michigan, where I am, anywhere. Nobody's waving communist flags and demanding a government take over their lives. I'm not seeing people protest. I demand the government take over my life. No, they want free stuff. They want handouts. But they want to give the middle finger to anybody who tries to tell them what to do. But Mamdani and Warren, among others, have found this brainwashed young bloc of voters who don't understand that socialism will not bring about affordability, but will certainly deliver misery. Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act and the Democrats' $90 trillion Green New Deal are perfect examples. $90 trillion, by the way, that's not an exaggeration. These Green New Deal, they are perfect examples of just the tip of the iceberg. These new Democrat socialists would go, a lot farther. And fellow Democratic Socialist Minneapolis mayoral candidate Omar Fatah says it's time for the Democrat Party to make its choice on how they want to evolve. Listen to this.
Well, Zoran's win was not only making huge waves in New York, but here in Minneapolis and across the country, I think it's important for the Democratic Party going forward to make a decision on what kind of party it wants to be, not only in our local mayor elections that we're seeing, but in the midterms and beyond. What we're seeing in our local elections nationally is that this is the type of catalyst moment that we need right now to bolster not just democratic organizing, but participation across the country, especially when Republicans made huge strides last election in gaining the trifecta, the presidency, as well as both chambers of Congress.
Mm-hmm. Now, Fattah is a guy who takes pride, great pride, in his Somalian roots. But he fails to mention that Somalia collapsed under socialism in the last century, keeping the perfect record. Socialism fails 100% of the time. Industries like banking, agriculture, and trade were nationalized. Food distribution there controlled by the state. Land was seized, all under the guise of promising to uplift the marginalized. The result? GDP tanked. A massive famine ensued, and the socialist leader siphoned off billions of his dollars to his loyalists, allies, and pet projects. He lined his own pocket while the people starved. Because that's also what socialist tyrants do. It's a tale as old as time. I hope from the bottom of my heart that sane Americans will out for these kinds of elections and make it known that this is not the direction of America. We're not going down that hellhole. If there's such a thing as a sane Democrat, and I know there is, I know some of them, we need you guys to draw a red line, no pun intended, on socialism. And even New York City Mayor Eric Adams can do that. He understands it. Listen.
Well, I think look at the policies. To want to empty out Rikers, that's a major impact. It's going to go back to the communities that crime came from. I think that if you want to do governmental grocery stores, you're going to hurt working small businesses, our independent supermarkets, our bodegas, different groups. I think that if you tell police not to respond to domestic violence incidents, Mora and Rivera, the two cops that were shot at the beginning of my career, they died being assassinated at a domestic violence incident. I think that we're going to see some real errors. The policies are harmful to the city.
Yeah, there are darker campaign promises than just government-run grocery stores. Mamdani has committed $65 million for the transgender health care in New York City. Not just for New Yorkers either, but for any American who wants to fly in on the taxpayer dime for gender mutilation. Here's a Democratic socialist who works with Mamdani's campaign. Listen to what they say.
Zoran is literally attempting to do what conservatives say, we want to do, which is provide gender-affirming care to anyone who wants it for free, and we're going to ship people, we're going to fly people in and pay for their hotel rooms, and we're going to do all of the Fox News stuff. We're getting ideas from Fox News. I want to do that. But most importantly is we collaborated with the Zoran Mamdani campaign on his trans rights platform. And what we explicitly wanted to do was use the power of New York City to provide free gender-affirming care, and I say free, in case insurance companies decide to boot us off, free gender-affirming care, not just to people in New York City, but across the country.
You know, when did transgenderism become the defining issue of the Democrats? And why are they still wearing masks? I watch that and I go, why do they have masks on? This isn't just about economics, it's about control. Democratic socialists want to silence dissent, cancel anyone who disagrees, and pay for programs you didn't vote for with your tax dollars. They're coming for your guns, your churches, and your right to speak your mind, all under the guise of equity and social justice, while making your streets unsafe and your economy a disaster. In the past, Mamdani has repeatedly advocated for defunding the police, something that he's now walking back from a little, but not completely. Tried to make a measured approach, claiming that he just wants to replace some police officers with social workers. All right, real quickly, here he is.
That is the most asinine thing I have ever heard. If you want the violence in your city to continue and for these shootings to continue, you go ahead and do that. But for anyone that supports a candidate that believes in replacing NYPD officers with social workers, I have no words for you.
Evil people.
All right, the left has never been strong on logic. They rely on emotional arguments that are based in fiction, not fact, to appeal to a demographic that wants free stuff and no accountability. It will be the ruin of this nation unless we continue to fight for America First policies, even after President Trump isn't on the ballot anymore, because the Democratic Socialists deny everything that this country was founded on. If we give them even an inch, they'll turn the land into the land of the free and the land of the breadlines and ration cards. That's a fact. We're off to a good start. Good morning. It's the Steve Gruber Show.